What's good, everybody? Welcome into Inside the Green Room with
Sure.
Danny Green. I'm Harrison Sanford. Happy to tap in with you guys today. Got to talk about a lot that's happened in the association recently. One of Danny's former teammates has come under fire and under the microscope as Joel Embiid, who was previously criticized for not playing in that big game against Nikola Jokic, is now on the mend, and we're not sure when he's going to return to the lineup. We'll talk about LeBron James and the Lakers, who don't seem too happy with where they stand in the Western Conference. And we're officially a week away from the NBA trading deadline. In this episode, Danny and I are going to give you our three teams that absolutely must make a trade by February 8th. But we start with the big fella in Philadelphia, Danny, with Joel Embiid. For one, I got to be real, Danny. I was disappointed and I was upset at Joel Embiid for not playing in that game against Nikola Jokic. Now, I did not say that he was ducking the smoke. I just simply said I was disappointed because this is a matchup that we all want to see. Nonetheless, we see what's happened now with Joel Embiid, who suffered, looked like a different injury to his knee against the Golden State Warriors on Tuesday night. Before we get to Kendrick Perkins' comments about what they should do with Embiid, what is your reaction to all of the fallout between not playing Jokic and now getting the injury and the 65 game limit to be an MVP? All of those things combined make Joel Embiid quite a fascinating story.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were disappointed not to see him play in Denver. Regardless if he played or not, they were very much shorthanded, and it wouldn't have been the same matchup they had in Philly. Tyrese Maxey was out, Tobias Harris. They had a number of guys that were out. And I think that played a part into why Joel was like, you know what, why would I force the issue to play against somebody when I'm shorthanded my team? It wouldn't have been a fair match regardless. But then he played the Golden State game and got hurt. And, I don't know if you heard, but Draymond had some comments as well and thought the 65 game rule was BS and didn't like it. And you're forcing Embiid to play. And I get it, certain things, but it now forces guys to be careful or choose wisely how they rest because you don't want to rest and you might have an injury. So you got to take that to mind. If you're a guy that always has injuries, you may not need to rest that much. Now, do I think that they should change it? Somewhat, but I think I like the rule. I like that there should be a rule. You guys shouldn't be able to have certain accolades, certain bonuses, or be put on certain teams if you don't play at least, 3/4 of the season. I think they should probably lower it to 62. I think anything more than 20 games should take you out of contention. Now, 65, no, there should be a little grace period. I think 60 should be
Eh,
like the max. 22 games at 60, 22 games should be the
But
max you can
Danny,
miss.
but oh, trust me, as somebody who grew up watching 90s basketball, and I saw the stat today, Michael Jordan in at least 10
Mhm.
of the seasons played 70 games or more. Like that type of stuff is applauded, or 80 games or more. Like that stuff was applauded, and that's definitely one I want to see from teams. But let's just say I was a media member who had a vote. I could also just say, hey, listen, uh, Joel Embiid's 60 games is more valuable than, no shots at Pascal Siakam, more valuable than 80 Pascal Siakam games. And that could very well end up being the case. Pascal Siakam gets a front court spot and Joel Embiid doesn't get a spot at all. Like, I understand the premise behind it and I applaud it because I want to see
Mhm.
guys hoop every single day. I watch basketball every single
Yeah.
day. I want to see the stars out there. But at the same time, as it pertains to me qualifying who are the best players at each position in the NBA, I can judge that. I'm like, yo, your 60 games just wasn't as
Maybe. I still
impactful as
think
Joel Embiid's. Your
maybe not,
82
but
games wasn't as impactful as his.
when I say like, and there's the point of when there's the next guy behind him is not that far of a drop off. MVP is Nikola
Mm,
Jokic, still the MVP candidate. You're talking
yes.
about not Joel Embiid, and you got Domantas Sabonis. These are guys that deserve to have these positions. They're playing 80 games. They're playing 75 plus games a year, and then the other guys playing less than 60. I would think the person that played the other deserves to get that position. Now I'm saying 65 maybe a little bit on the line. We're teetering of a very fine line of that's there's no rest games, for
Yeah,
somebody that
yeah.
gets injured. I think there has to have some type of grace period, a little bit of space. So I think that the good line is at 60. 60 games is good. Anything less than 60, now I'm like, all right, you missed too many games. You missed 23 games. That's a good part of the season, man, where we can't judge you. And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's no way, I don't care how valuable you are, and those 58 games, somebody that's playing 79, there's a big difference, bro. I can't
I
see it being more
understand.
valuable, a better season. Somebody played 79 games. That's played 20 more games than you.
I just honestly, Danny, I don't think there's one resolution. I just wish we weren't at this place. I wish we weren't in a
I
position
agree.
where we had to vote for all NBA team, and those all NBA votes, which mandate players play X amount of games, is what then rewards the players for playing in those games. Back in the day, I don't believe there was a financial reward for being all NBA second team, but now with the super bonus and the super
I
maxes,
think
all
there
of those things
was.
qualify.
I,
I'm sure that
maybe not, but I think
maybe
there's
not as
some
aggressive
individual,
as it
maybe
is
nightly
now.
bonuses. Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe so. Maybe so.
outside of the salary cap structure, but within the NBA salary cap structure, I don't think that was there. And so I just wish we weren't there. And I will say this: I'm almost glad that I'm talking to you. Part of the reason why we're here is because of load management, which was famously, I think, started in your former place of employment in San Antonio.
Well, one of the things Draymond did say was that Kawhi won Defensive Player of the Year over him, and he played 51 games. I don't know if that's true. I didn't look up the numbers, but if that was the case, I'd argue that fact if I was him as well, because somebody that played 51 games out of 82, that means he missed 30 something games. That's a lot of games to miss to win an award of that
31.
stature.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, and the next person in line ain't no slouch. So for somebody else to win it, whether it's Rudy Gobert, Draymond Green, a Dwight Howard, a Marc Gasol, those guys, if it wasn't Kawhi Leonard, then it's like, all right, this guy played 75 games. He's not a big drop off from Kawhi to, like, I'm saying, somebody that's not on a defensive team. So I'm okay for that. I'm okay with that. But we do need to find the good line of where people are more comfortable, because 65 is, I said, Joel, it doesn't seem like he's missed a bunch of games, but he's only 5 games left of being sitting out, where it exemplifies him from winning MVP or these other awards. When I think, the real line should be like, a good 20 games, maybe 22. So anything under 60 games, I think. So
Yeah, it would seem as if Joel Embiid at this point is not going to win the MVP. And I know in certain sports books, you can't even place a wager on him to win MVP because he's so close to that barrier of missing the minimum game mark,
there,
which
there
leads
might be a
me.
wager of him missing the games. You might have a better.
It might be a wager of him missing the entire season, or at least according to Kendrick Perkins. On Wednesday night, Kendrick Perkins on NBA Countdown offered a suggestion that the 76ers should absolutely just bench Joel Embiid for the rest of the season. Not wait till the MRI results reveal more further data. Just rule them out for the rest of the season, because we've seen Joel Embiid not look too good when he's out there. Ramona Shelburne reported before the Denver Nuggets game that Joel Embiid couldn't jump. And if you watch the Warriors game, there were moments when people were driving the lane, and I hadn't seen Joel be that vulnerable in the paint as a defender. He just doesn't have the lift right now. And to Kendrick's point, the Philadelphia 76ers are set up really well come this summer. They're going to have 2 max salary slots and still have the ability to retain Tyrese Maxey. And obviously Joel Embiid, if you look at his history, unfortunately, every single postseason, I think over the last 5 to 6 years, he's had some injury that has hindered him in a minor or in a major, or at least in a minor way for the Philadelphia 76ers. It sounds crazy, Danny. It sounds crazy to sit a guy who's playing at the MVP level, not a MVP level, the MVP level. But at the same time, considering his injury history, let's just say this. I don't think it should be ruled out.
I'm going to stop you right there, because not only does it sound crazy, it is crazy. And I love Perk. That's my dog, and he has some great takes. Some of them are very funny. They're good hot takes, and some of them make a lot of sense. This one was absolutely absurd, bro. There's no way you sit this. You're handicapping Nick Nurse in a win now situation. This ain't no way. And who are you really gonna get? Who's gonna be a free agent this summer that you're gonna get? I don't care how much cap you have to trade for somebody. There ain't many great free agents that are this summer happening where you're just gonna pick somebody up and sign. They're gonna come to Philly.
Use max.
No,
and use
you have
max
to. You have to trade for this. Yeah, you have to trade for that person. First of all, second of all, this is a win now situation. This ain't no. Oh, let's wait till the summer. And this summer, Joel Embiid might be halfway out the door to New York. You don't know where he's gonna be. Where his mind is. Oh, we didn't win now, or they did this. They handicapped. We didn't do what we expected, or I didn't like the way that the team shut me down, or organization, or how Nick coached. I don't know who he's bringing in. I might not like the moves that they bring in, or even the trades or pickups or signees they make this summer. If I'm Joel Embiid, he might be on the. You know what? Let me try to see push his way out of there. Who knows? But it's a win now situation. And the end of the day, my point is you cannot put your team in that type of scenario with a win now situation where they have no rhythm going into the playoffs. When you have Tyrese Maxey playing the way he's been playing, Tobias Harris having a pretty good year and adjusting to Nick Nurse, and the pieces you have. Now you could trade and make some pick up a good piece. But with the piece you have now, you need to get over that hump and at least make the Eastern Conference Finals. There is no losing in the second round this year for Philly. I don't care what you talk about, try to do, or try to scientifically let's rest them for this next season. No, we can't wait. There's no waiting till next year or this summer anymore for Philly. They have to get it done
Mm.
because the organization, the fans, a lot of people are on very much edge of seeing what's going to happen. And if it doesn't get to where it happens, there's going to be a lot of unhappy people with how that production came about.
Yeah, that's totally true. And Joel Embiid, the only MVP to never make it to the conference finals. I'm sure that is something that is potentially weighing on him. And the way the team is structured, if I'm him, I'm obviously I'm upset if I lose any round. But unless it's the Boston Celtics, I should feel, if I'm Joel Embiid, that I should win the playoff series because I'm that damn good. And I'm that
Exactly.
damn good.
And you got the
So
coach that you wanted. You got the coach that you wanted. And who else now the only other person that you match up with, can you outbeat can you outcoach Doc? Can you beat Doc? That's the Milwaukee Bucks. So the only two teams that we have to worry about is Boston, Milwaukee. And to me, you got the guy you wanted. You guys let go of Doc. And this guy should be able to outcoach Milwaukee, or y'all should be able to outplay Milwaukee if y'all match up with them. So the only other team that's acceptable in the Eastern Conference Finals, you should be playing them, is the Boston Celtics.
we don't have enough time, but the New York Knicks are now the number 3 seed in the Eastern Conference. But we'll talk about that another
Good for
day.
them.
We'll talk about that another day because I don't want to keep
They're
going.
playing well.
Oh,
They're
yes.
playing well. Good for
Oh,
them.
yes, they
They're
are.
still
Oh, yes,
a
they
contender in
are.
my eye. They
No,
can get to the Eastern Conference Finals for sure. They can definitely make some noise. They're not a contender yet, but they're playing really
no.
good basketball. They're very disciplined. They're playing at a high level. But they are still. They need one
They're
star.
one
They
more
need a
piece.
one star or
Hey,
one piece away, and they
hey,
have a lot of
Danny,
pieces they could use to get that.
then that's what I remember. That's what I told you. By the end of
Mhm.
2024, it might be this season. It might be the end of the calendar year. By the end of 2024, they're gonna make that one big move. And by the time it's NBA playoffs 2025, the Knicks will have a legit chance of winning the NBA finals. But I digress. I
History,
digress.
you know what they say about history, right?
What?
They say it repeats itself. And what does the Knicks historically do? They historically it up. So I'm not betting on them. They're gonna
I
make a move.
understand.
It's gonna be the. We'll see what happens. I hope that we'll see. I hope for your sake that they make the move that they haven't made in the last 20 years to make them contenders. They've had some good teams. They had some decent teams, but they haven't done it yet. Maybe they changed something in the front office where somebody's gonna scout better and make better moves. But historically, it
Hey, it's a new
can
regime.
always happen.
It's a new regime. Shout out to Leon Rose and all the guys who are running the shop there with the New York Knickerbockers. Every
All he
move,
did was bring in all the
Danny.
Villanova boys. That's all he did. Bring a bunch of
Hey,
Villanova
listen.
guys and OG.
Every
Only
move
the
is
only reason why it
hitting.
looks it the only one that makes it hit is Jalen Brunson. That's the best move they've made
Don
in the past
Dante
5 years.
DiVincenzo just had a 9
I don't give
three-pointer
it
game.
no.
Miles
That's one
McBride
game.
has been hooping
Without
3.
Jalen Brunson, y'all
Of
are
course,
not they're
of
not good.
course.
Without Jalen
Of,
Brunson, they're not
of
even in a
course.
conversation.
He's the
Yeah.
engine, but you got the engine and you got him on a great deal, which allows you to get other complementary players on relatively good deals as well. We won't. I don't want to get too deep into it.
That's the
Also,
only
because
genius move. Other moves
I,
are solid moves, but that's the only genius move they made.
shout out to the New York Knicks front office. We digress. We can't talk too much about the Los Angeles Lakers. One, because I don't want to. We can't be doing this for too long, and two, because I'm on the other side of me. I'm watching Dame Lillard with the chance to hit a game winner in Portland. Portland Trailblazers down by 2 with 17 seconds on the clock. The Milwaukee Bucks. Milwaukee Bucks down by
Down by
1.
one.
Down by 1.
Yes.
Milwaukee Bucks have the ball with 17.6 seconds left. We're going to get my live reaction to this while we're doing the pod. So that's the first in inside the green
Yeah,
room
since
history.
5 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Let's
first
see
in
what
6
happens
years. We've
here.
been doing it 6 years almost. We'll see what
Dribble
happens. Still got
handoff
some
for
time, though.
Dame. Dame step back. Got to give it up. Swing it to Brook Lopez. Wide open. Step back again. No. Hits the rim. Rebound. 5 seconds left. Okay. Well,
Portland got the
Well,
rebound?
the Bucks, yeah, the Bucks should have a chance to hit a three to tie to go to overtime if whoever grabbed that rebound doesn't hit the free throws. They got the ball out of Dame's hand. But quickly, before we move on to the last topic of our opening segment here, Los Angeles Lakers. They have not been playing well, Danny, and they have been not playing well specifically on the defensive end, giving up buckets to teams like the Atlanta Hawks. And obviously we saw the game with the
Houston
Golden State
Rockets.
Warriors. It was, yeah, and the Houston Rockets as well, even coming off of that great, spectacular, cinematic double overtime win over the Golden State Warriors. I don't want to talk about them for too long. I just want to ask you one simple question that all of Lakers Twitter is asking. Why in the world is Darvin Ham not starting the lineup that went all the way to the Western Conference Finals last year? The lineup of Austin Reeves, D'Angelo Russell, Jared Vanderbilt, Anthony Davis, and LeBron James has played a grand total, or actually, let me say it another way. That lineup, those five players have played under 40 minutes together so far this season. I repeat, the starting lineup that went to the Western Conference Finals last year in Austin Reeves, D'Angelo Russell, Jared Vanderbilt, Anthony Davis, and LeBron James hasn't even played 40 minutes together this season, Danny. Lakers Twitter wants to know why. I don't have the answers. I'm wondering if you do.
I do. They have injuries, man. As simple as that.
No,
Vando
no,
hasn't been
no,
healthy
no,
all
no,
year.
no, no. Vanderbilt's been back long
Bro,
enough, Danny. He's been back long enough so
couple
that
weeks. He's been hurt a
even
lot.
okay, even
Who
still,
else you had?
Torian Prince is
They could
getting
have
up.
played more minutes.
Yeah, of
Then also
course.
that's the other part. They have a different lineup now. They have Cam Reddish and Torian Prince. Those guys are different guys that bring a different dynamic that you need to gel with the group. And now, yes, he should play them more minutes. I don't mean they need to start, but they have Cam Reddish, they have Torian Prince. Those guys bring a different dynamic of defense for you, and that's why
Jared
he's probably
Vanderbilt's a good
using them.
defender.
He is, but he's not shooting the well Torian Prince and Cam Reddish can shoot.
Oh, for sure. He's not shooting. Well, he's not shooting like Torian Prince, but he's probably not better than Cam Reddish, but they're probably the same caliber of defender.
No. But Cam Reddish can shoot. Cam and Torian can shoot way better than they're shooters. They're known to be shooters.
for
Vando's
sure.
capable, but he's not a shooter.
But you get the scoring punch of having Austin Reeves and D'Angelo Russell out there, and then you have LeBron, AD, and Jared Vanderbilt capable of playing defense in that front court. All I'm saying is it worked last year, and
Once
I
again,
think
for
and
sure,
I think
that was for the conference finals or the semifinals.
bro, that's the lineup that they went when they traded Westbrook. That was the lineup they went to, and that's part of the reason why they were a top 10 team defensive rating
That's why they
last
beat
year.
Golden State.
And
I think that was more of a Golden State matchup. Why they did it, it didn't work against Denver, obviously.
Yeah.
But they changed up lineups against Denver. But I think it worked against Golden State because it threw them off having Bron off the ball. I don't think Bron wanted to be off the ball as much as he was in that series or for the duration of the season. That's just not something. Mind you said, they did have injuries. They have different lineup. They have different roster now. They have different guys there. So with that addition or subtraction of certain people, things change, man. But yeah, Bron was off the ball. You have D'Angelo and Austin on the ball. Bron has to play more cutting. And during the regular season, I don't think that's something he would want to do. Now the playoffs come, it may be different depending on the matchup. And I think it made sense for him to do that matchup that way. Also, when you're guarding Steph and Clay, it makes sense to have Vando chasing. He's bigger guard, bigger body, longer, athletic defender. I still think when you have Torian and Cam, it changes things of your dynamic of choosing, especially if you have a guy that can shoot and defend.
I would say this as if I was a player and I'm looking at our record. Hey, bruh, this is me talking to Darvin Ham. Hey, bruh, why aren't we playing what was successful for us last year? As opposed to, yes,
well, also because not just because their defense is bad, their offense is not great either, so they need more scoring and shooting. So I think that's part of their shooting. The reason why they struggle is also their shooting. Defensively, yes, but they need shooting. And if you play Vando, it clogs the lanes for AD and Bron and D'Lo and Austin. And Austin, if he's not shooting, he's also not shooting from three as well as he did last year. It changes things. And Austin comes off the bench now, scoring. He goes against the second unit. Like you said, we shouldn't take too much time on it, but there's a couple of ways of looking at it. And yes, should probably experiment with going that. But they're one of the teams that are my top 3 that definitely need a trade. So there you go.
Yeah, yeah, we should definitely get to that. And honestly, one of the teams that I think has to make a trade by the trading deadline is the Milwaukee Bucks, and they just lost in Portland in Dame's
Hmm.
return to the Moda Center. We'll talk about that in just
Why
a
do you think
moment.
they need a trade?
Oh, we'll
Okay,
talk
we'll
about
get
that in
back
just a
to that.
moment. We'll go to break. Danny and I will give our top 3 teams that need to make a trade by next Thursday. Be right back. Welcome back inside the Green Room. Make sure you subscribe, rate, and review, and find us on Instagram at Inside Green Room. It's time for Danny and I to reveal our top 3 teams that need to make a trade. Danny, give me your number 3 team. So we'll go in reverse order. So the team that out of your 3 that least likely needs to make a trade is who?
Oh man, number 3, you have Milwaukee. I'm gonna have Philly at number 3.
Okay.
I think Philly needs to make the move to put them. They are on the line of contention, but I think to put them over and make them for sure a contender, they need. They have a lot of people at the wing. Too many of the same guys that they got from L.A. when they traded for James. They're still a good team. I just don't think they're good enough to get over that hump to beat the Boston and the Milwaukee's over there, or even your New York Knickerbockers who've been playing really well. They made some great moves. So that could be a battle for them. Even Cleveland, if they get hot, you just never know. But I think they're number 3. That they're not the most urgent team that needs to make a trade, but they are up there. And my other 2, I'm gonna give to you. They need to make trades more urgently than the Philadelphia 76ers.
Yeah, I definitely thought about the Philadelphia 76ers, but when you think what they have this upcoming summer, the max salary slot for 2 different players and the ability to keep Tyrese Maxey. Yes, I understand you want to maximize every single season that you have Joel Embiid, but I would not say they need to force a trade because you don't want to mess up the ability you have in the future with that flexibility of having 2 max players on the roster plus Tyrese Maxey. So,
You know how I feel
yes,
about that.
yes, I know. Yes, they
The
should
win
make a
now
trade.
situation, the
Yeah,
summer, F all that summer stuff. Win now, you need to make a trade now if you want to get over that second round hump, which you haven't
yeah.
done since Joel's been there. You need to make a move now.
I understand that. I understand that. I'll give you my number 3 team, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, I know a lot of people are probably thinking, oh, this is such a young team. Why do they have to do anything to improve their chances? Let them
Mhm.
learn on the fly. No, bump that. Not when you're Sam Presti and you have 25 draft picks at your disposal. You're not going to use all of them. You might as well start turning them in now and give this young team a taste or a better chance at having a good win, a good taste in their mouths when it comes to the playoffs. Pause. Now, if you look at their
Mhm.
roster, they are number 29
And
in rebounding rate. And I
rebounding.
don't and I don't want to see them go into the playoffs and they simply lose a series because Rudy Gobert was
They
just too
can't
big
rebound.
or
Okay.
Nikola Jokic was just too big or the 3 center combo they have with the Clippers of Zubac and Plumlee and I forget the and oh
Mhm.
and
So
what's the
they
guy?
need 1 or 2 bigs. They need 1 or 2 centers.
They need one. They need Daniel Tice. Yeah, 1 or 2 centers, and it doesn't have to be some great center, but just somebody with some force, with some
A
girth
big
that could
body that's
actually
good
so
enough
to not
to
look.
guard one of those guys.
It would be so dispiriting for them to have one of the best records in the NBA all season, and they just get to the playoffs and they just get bludgeoned simply because they can't
Yeah.
rebound or simply because they can't defend the paint. Like that, I think would be a disheartening experience for those players. If they lose a series, let them lose it just by the talent deficit or the experience deficit. But just to get beaten on the boards, get outscored by 20 points in the paint every game, I think that'd be pretty whack. Considering, again, Sam Presti has like 30 draft picks at his disposal.
Agreed, and that's why my number 1 team, the team
Oh
that
no,
I think is number
you
1 that
jump
needs
into
them
your
on.
number one. What about your number
I'm not
two?
skipping. I'm just telling you the reason why I have them at number 1 is because they need to make the fixes from
Oh,
last
you
year.
have
And I'll
Thunder
tell you
at
my
number
number 2.
one.
I don't have them at number 1. I have
Oh,
number
okay,
2.
okay.
My number 2 team is the Golden State Warriors. They need to shake
Mm,
something up. I know they have their 3 guys, but they need to get it in the playoffs. You can't sign all those guys back, give Draymond $100 million and not be in the playoffs. So in order for them to, they've been playing a little bit better, but in order for them to get in the play-in for sure and be in at least 7, 8 seed of the playoffs, they need to shake something up, and that's either trade Wiggs or somebody else or pieces, him, Wiggs, and CP. I don't know, to get some younger fresh energy and get a solid big that can guard Jokic or something that makes your system run a little bit smoother. I don't know what it is, but they need to do something. But my number one team, I will tell you, and the reason is also because of Nikola Jokic, who they need rebounding, not only rebounding, but they need a bigger body to help guard Nikola Jokic.
Go ahead. Give me your number one team.
You gonna give me your number two, or you just gonna jump right into my number one?
I'll give you my number two. I'll make it quick and easy because I think it's pretty much understood.
Mhm.
The Milwaukee Bucks. You have to play
Okay.
defense. You have, and yes, I know there's a belief that Doc Rivers will make the situation better, and he probably will. But
They
at the
need
end
to
of the
make
day,
trades.
it's not just a coaching thing; it's a personnel thing, and they clearly don't have a perimeter defender that's going to be able to stop a Tyrese Halliburton, that's going to be able to stop a Jaylen Brown, that's going to be able to stop a Jalen Brunson, is going to be able to stop,
Mhm.
name your guard here in the Eastern Conference. How about a Tyrese Maxey? They
There
need
you
big
go.
time personnel help with the Milwaukee Bucks. Scheme won't fix it, the issues that they have. So, and obviously, when you make a trade for Dame Lillard, you expect to at least be in the conference finals. And that is on the threat of not happening. They could mess around and get a team like the Pacers in the first round and be up and out of there and be pretty damn disappointing considering the moves that they made.
Mhm.
I think that that is 100% my number two team that needs to make a trade by this end of this trading deadline. What's your number one?
You have some great teams, but OKC, I do think they do need to make a trade, but they're one of the teams that don't need to win now. Milwaukee Bucks do need to win now, but they do have enough pieces to get something done and maybe make something special happen. They paid a lot of guys and brought them back. Yeah, they may need some perimeter defense, but they have enough to get it done. They just have enough scoring to get it done, but they do need defense. For me, I said the Los Angeles Lakers. They
Mm,
need to make a trade, and I think the trade that they're looking to make may be the wrong one because they're looking at guards. Yeah, they may need guards, but to me, I don't think you need another ball handler. You already have
mm,
D'Angelo. He meshes well with it. You already have Austin Reeves. You had Schroeder. You had a bunch of other options that you used in the past that were solid, but that wasn't the reason why you didn't make it to the finals. You had nobody to guard Nikola Jokic. I'm gonna say nobody. You had AD, but AD needs help, and we all know and he's even said it on the podcast before that the teams that give him the toughest problems are the two big fronts that guard him that way. When there wasn't
mm,
AD and a JaVale McGee behind him, when there was an AD and a Dwight Howard behind him, or Dwight Howard and AD could play off of him behind him
mm.
and block shots. So they need to find a big. Yeah, guards cool, but I think if you're gonna look for guards, you need more 3-and-D guys. But you need a big, you need a center, you need somebody to guard Nikola Jokic. Because Bron, once he turns it on, it's already go time. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be in the playoffs. They're going to be where they need to be, and they're going to be a team you don't want to face, regardless if they're a 7, 8 seed or 2 seed. They're one of the teams that's going to be locked in and have the tools and talent. He's going to have them ready to be able to make it to the Western Conference Finals. Now, how do you get over that hump? You got to go through Denver. You got to go through the Clippers, and both those teams have bigger bigs and more multiple bigs to be able to give Anthony Davis a lot of tire him out. So he needs help.
I like that. I like that insight because I think a lot of people are looking at guards, but you're totally right. They need a JaVale McGee, Dwight Howard, and they need an OG Anunoby. If they had those three players,
I do like the fact
they
that
might
they're
mess around
looking
and be in
at
the finals.
they're looking at Dorian Finney-Smith and Royce O'Neal. Those are the guys that they should for sure look at and have. Those are great role because Brooklyn has the most best role players you could
Wings,
find
yeah.
package-wise, the wings you could find. So yes, that's a great package. But outside of that, that doesn't solve your issue what you had last year. You guys got smoked by Denver because of this Serbian dude that you can't stop. Now, I'm not saying you're gonna stop him, but at least slow him down and junk it up. It's harder for him to operate when you have two bigs because he can't score, but also that other big can also guard Aaron Gordon, cutting down the lane, catching
Yes.
lobs. It makes it easier for. That's what makes them so effective. They obviously have some great shooting, but they have Nikola Jokic and Aaron Gordon, which makes everything run. Because you can't double them. You have Aaron Gordon for a dunk, or you have MPJ for a three. You know what I'm saying? You got to have somebody to guard the rim or guard Jokic and body him and also rebound, but somebody else that can play both and also help with
And play
Jokic and
off
then
and
get back to
help.
Aaron Gordon.
Yeah, you're right. You're
You know?
totally right. Feels like a lot of people are missing the mark there. That's some good insight. All right, my number one team. This kind of might sound a couple odd to some people. Go with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I'm saying that because after this year, Donovan Mitchell only has 1 year left on his contract. Now, the Cleveland Cavaliers are a damn good regular season team. Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, obviously
Mhm.
Donovan Mitchell. And this past summer, they got some shooting to help alleviate some of the issues that they saw in the playoffs last year, but there just not being enough space for Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland to operate the way they would probably want to. With that being said, I'm still skeptical of the Evan Mobley and Jared Allen front court, and I feel
Mhm.
pretty confident that that's the front court they're going to go into the NBA playoffs with. And if they go into the NBA playoffs with that front court and the spacing is once again compromised by them playing together, and they end up losing in the first round, well, there's not going to be a great package for Donovan Mitchell because Donovan Mitchell's going to hold all of the leverage in the situation, similar to what just happened with Pascal Siakam. If the Toronto Raptors
Mhm.
got a better package from the Sacramento Kings or from whatever, maybe the Dallas Mavericks, it didn't matter because Pascal Siakam held the power and saying, I'm not going to re-sign. So it changes the package you're available to get. That is why, Danny, the Cleveland Cavaliers need to make a great impression upon Donovan Mitchell going into the last year of his deal. And I honestly, and I'm not wishing this upon Cleveland Cavaliers fans, I honestly feel like Donovan Mitchell will be the player, the big time player that leaves his team this offseason because this Jared Allen and Evan Mobley thing, I don't think it's going to work. Point blank, period.
Hmm. I don't disagree with you. I could see Don leaving if things don't change, if they don't, I won't say win now, but at least make an impression that they can win and win soon in the future because he loves it. He loves the game. He studies it. He wants to win. And if he doesn't feel he has a chance there, he will go somewhere else. I do think maybe a change on the roster may change, but I think some other things need to change as well, and it may not just be roster wise. So if things roster wise changes, it'll give him more help. But if you have other things changes, my understanding, um, it was obviously there's injuries. It's hard to say this year. They expected to be a lot better than what they were because of the pieces they picked up. But superstars, if they don't feel appreciated or if they don't feel like they're getting what they're asking for, when I think he did get some of the things he did ask for, and he did get some shooting, which helps him. But if they're still
I
lacking some of the things that he's asking for, piece wise, and personnel, and playing wise, and you know, calling this, that, and
yeah,
other, it's gonna be tough to keep him. So it may
it's
not just be roster wise moves. So we'll see what happens there.
yeah, it's tough because they have a good rotation of players. I just don't
Hmm.
know if it's actually something that could survive a 7-game series. Great regular season team, but I'm still very much skeptical of how they make it work in the playoffs. All right, we're about to get out of here. Let's do this real quick before we leave. Danny, I'm done betting against Patrick Mahomes. I thought Lamar Jackson got him. It's not happening. I'm not betting against Patrick Mahomes anymore. We done messed around and met another GOAT. Like, it's
Yeah,
kind of crazy.
we
Tom
did
Brady retired, and we got blessed with another GOAT. Please, I know you're a
right
40.
after.
You grew up being a 49ers fan, but damn, Patrick Mahomes coming for
Nah,
the
they
title,
don't.
bruh. It's over.
They're not ready. Even though they had a hell of a game against Detroit and they came back, they showed a lot of immaturity, and you can't have immaturity like that against a Kansas City Chiefs
Against
team
Mahomes?
led by Patrick Mahomes. Absolutely not. And it wasn't like this guy was a go before Tom Brady left, so it was like overlapping Magic Michael type situation. You know
Mm.
what I'm saying? So, um, yeah, we're seeing it right in front of our eyes, and I don't think Niners. I'm gonna say they don't have a chance. There's always a chance any given Sunday, right? Because anything can happen, but if I was to bet good amount of money, I'd bet on Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. Even though we always want to see we wanted to see a new winner this year. We hate seeing the same people. They're just too damn good, and they're showing why you shouldn't bet against them.
Yeah, we're absolutely blessed in that sense. All right, so you got the Chiefs winning. I got the Chiefs winning. Next week, guys, or yes, next week, February 8th. Make sure you catch Danny and myself on Stadium Network. We'll be doing a trade-in deadline special alongside Sham Sharania and Cameron Smith. Make sure you check us out. We'll be live in studio February 8th, 3 p.m. Eastern. I think we might even start like 2 p.m. Eastern because it is the trade deadline. Make sure you catch us there, and we'll see you guys next week. Read, rate, subscribe, review, all those good things. Catch you guys next time.